Hey, welcome once again to Emergence, a show where I interview artists, people from all around the world. Today I'm online here with Drew Wallace. He's the lead singer in a band called IRON BONG. We'll be talking about his art, his music, and his poetry. Hold on one second. Drew, are you there?
I am here.
It's kind of cold over there in California.
Yeah, up here in Northern California, it's a little cold today. How are you doing in Texas?
It's kind of cold out here too. I think it's probably about 45 degrees outside.
Oh, you're worse off. It's probably about 55 here.
Well, it does get a bit colder out here. The bands that you've been playing with, it's all about the music. Has it always been the psychedelic music, or?
It's always been about psychedelic music for me. I first fell in love with the Beatles because they were a psychedelic band when I was a little kid, and then whenever I got a little bit older and started doing experiments with psychedelic music and psychedelics, I realized that music just sounded better and was more fun to create doing psychedelics. So no matter if it sounded like country music or anything, if you were on psychedelics, it was psychedelic music to me. And so it just all gradually grew from that.
Let's talk a second about the psychedelic. You're talking about drugs, right?
Yes.
LSD, mushrooms, peyote.
Yeah, that was the kind of thing that was common in Texas when I was a youth growing up.
Yeah, and out of that came your love for the psychedelic music. Is that what you're saying, or?
Yes. Well, because of doing, before even the psychedelics, I fell in love with the psychedelic music because I like the Beatles, and I can remember hearing the Doors when I was a little bitty kid. The Light My Fire keyboard riff just stood out in my head ever since I was about 3. And so I've always had that love for that style of music. It's just whenever you start doing it yourself, you find there's much more purpose to psychedelic music than just doing a song. It's more of a spiritual, transcendent type experience.
What was the first band that you got involved with?
I guess the first one was the Modern Wig. Yeah, that started in college in Denton, Texas, when we were students at the University of North Texas.
I know there's like a political party named the Whigs. Is that the reason for the name, or is there another reason?
Yeah, that was the original inspiration. Was we wanted it was a political party band without a doubt. But in the end, I didn't really like singing all about politics. It seemed kind of weird. And I went off more into creative stuff. It seemed, as a psychedelic musician, politics seemed like a weird thing to sing about, really. But the Modern Wigs really didn't do much really political things. It was all more about psychedelics. But so it never really was what they originally planned to be, but it was a really great psychedelic band. So
what year was that, the Wigs? Was that in the early 90s or 80s?
No, our first... We started about 1987, and our first stuff started coming out of Rockadelic Records in 87, 88, and it was like some 45s, and there was a couple other releases on strange labels in 87, The Shaved Brains, which was part of one of the first Modern Wigs releases, and the Psychic Peach Flow Dwelling. Psychic Peach Flow Dwelling is a really rare one, too, out there, like 100 copies. Those were about 87, 86. We started making lots of music videos because I was a film major at the school. And I had a TV show called The Other Side, and I was supposed to have student films on it. And most of the student films that were given to me to be shown on my TV show were not very good. And it kind of made my show kind of suck. And so I started making my own. But it couldn't all be the Drew show. So I had to change personalities. And so I started wearing costumes and creating bands and identities at that point so I could be more than just me.
How long did the Modern Wigs go on for?
I think we broke up in about 1990. It was about 87 and 1990. We had a pretty good run there.
And how many albums did you guys put out with the Modern Wigs?
We have 2 full-length records, Revolution, Modern Wigs Revolution, and a CD called The Modern Wigs Raped by the Cop. And they're both full-length. And then there's some singles and a couple of compilations I think we're on.
At that point, you were having records pressed or something like that? I remember you were saying that you were making your own vinyl records.
Yes. A good friend of mine, Mark Migliore, ran Rockadelic Records and would do these limited pressings of vinyl, like 300 pressings, 500 pressings. He did that with some of my bands. And so I thought it was pretty cool. Most of the people I knew, wanted to become rock stars with huge, let's press a million or it's worthless. And I didn't really see it that way. I thought it was really cool. Like, he was like these really limited record pressings. So we started playing around with ourselves as a band.
So they came without covers, though, and you guys were making your own covers?
Yeah, at times we made our own covers, yes, that is true. We hand-painted each cover one at a time, individually. But there was usually a 300 pressing. It was quite time-consuming, but also pretty quick. It was fun. It was educational. Like, if you were to look at number 1 of 300 and compare it to number 299 of 300, you would see a much better album at 299 of 300. It was like painting school by the end of it.
So you were pressing these records and making the artwork for them, and then how would you distribute them? Was it at the concerts that you were having, or?
No, I usually distributed through various distributors I had lined up in Europe, like the Zoni Records of Germany and several other distributors that I had known for a long time that had been putting out my stuff since I was really in the early days of Modern Wigs. And so whenever I started putting out these records, they snagged them on up and they distributed them. And there wasn't very many. There's only 300 pressings, so he managed to get rid of them.
Then after the Modern Wigs came, was that Bag or was there something in between there?
Yeah, Bag came along after the Modern Wigs.
And that's when you really started producing albums, something like, I think you told me 20 albums with Bag.
Yeah, that's when I started doing Lost Records. And Lost Records was my record label in Texas, where I did 20 albums, all Texas psychedelic bands, some called punk rock, Texas punk rock, Texas psychedelic. They all kind of merged together in Texas. It wasn't a real clear thing. Like in San Francisco, there's a lot of flower power and it's really clear. In Texas, that wasn't necessarily the psychedelic deal. It was a little bit more rough-ended, more of a punk rock deal. And most of those albums reflect that attitude.
You gave me a track here that I'm going to play in a second. It's from the album Stonehead.
Yeah, Crazy Stonehead. Yeah, that Crazy Stonehead is on Helter Skelter Records out of Italy, the CD. And I think it came out in 1994. It's Bag. And Crazy Stonehead is the actual last song on it. It's about a guy who could talk to the dead. He was a crazy stonehead, and he could talk to the dead. It was pretty amazing, really. And what song are we going to listen to off of it?
This one's called The Smell. Hold on one second here. I'm going to play it for everyone, okay? And this is Bag, The Smell, from the Crazy Stonehead album by Drew Wallace. All right, now is the smell. The thing, let's see, that I want to talk about next was the album art. You guys did a lot of artwork yourselves for the album covers. Did that continue when you went to Bag, or did you seek professional designers?
Well, whether we we painted them ourselves, each individual album, which wasn't really very many, but, overall of the 20 releases, I think 4 were actually hand painted. But even the ones that were professionally designed were still designed by my artist friends locally that I thought were really great artists. They were professionals, so I guess yes, I moved on to professionals.
There was that one, it was called something, The Mountain.
Harmony Mountain?
Harmony Mountain, yeah, that's right. That one you gave me the front and back cover. And I've got some artwork that I've been posting to my DeviantArt account. And as a matter of fact, if you're listening and you're reading the journal, you're going to get a chance to be able to see all the albums that we're talking about here. But the Harmony Mountain, you didn't actually paint that. That was by somebody else. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I painted all the Harmony Mountain records. That's with acrylic paint, and a few of them have oil too. I painted every single one of those albums myself. I would occasionally sign albums Benny because I needed an artist name, and my first name is Benjamin. And so when you see Benny, that's actually me. I do that also in Iron Bong. You see Benny Lawless. That's really me, too. I have all sorts of identities because it just seemed like I was doing too much. And so I made the bands larger and bigger. But actually, anything Benny does is me. And I did all the covers for Lucy Music. And that's actually, the Harmony Mountain is a spot in Arkansas where my great-grandmother and grandfather lived. And her name was Lucy Music. And that's where that came from.
Lucy Music is your grandmother?
Yeah, she is. That's my great-grandmother. She's a full-blood Cherokee from Alabama. And during Reconstruction, they fled from Alabama to Oklahoma in the Arkansas border to a place called Harmony Mountain and raised my family.
Okay, so this poetry that you've given me, I've had read by a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Rosalind Stevenson, and she's been nice enough to read it for us. So where is that from? Is that one of your songs?
Yeah. Rosalind's going to read Where the Red Grass Grows, and that's off Bag, the album Midnight Juice, which is on Rockadelic Records. Where the Red Grass Grows is just one of the songs on that record. I think Rosalind does an awesome job with it. This is exciting.
I'm really grateful for her help. It was kind of a last-minute shuffle there, trying to get somebody to read it. I'd asked a couple people, and she came through for me, so I'm pretty happy with it. Hold on for 1 second for that piece, okay?
Okay.
This is Where the Red Grass Grows by Drew Wallace. It was a song from the Bag album.
The stars rain down on my head. Explosions all around. I am soaked in colors. So many crickets on the ground. On the shore of the mosaic sea is a jellyfish in a tree. Here is the place where the grass grows tall, and we can try to smoke it all. A golden idol inside my summer days. Dance, scarecrow, above my budding maze. There is a valley near, I am told. The sun paints the landscape gold. I have heard the grandfathers discuss the coyote man coming to live with us. in the place where the red grass grows, where the red grass grows, where the red grass grows. Oh, where the red grass grows. Oh, oh, the glistening wheel. Inside the vast ebony ocean, I can feel the effects of the potion. Now the crickets sing their relentless tune in the woods and on the moon.
And that was Rosalind Stevenson, and that was Drew Wallace's poem. I think that actually makes a really good, solid poem myself. I mean, you write all your own lyrics for your songs?
Yes, yeah. I think Rosalind does a great job with that too. That was really cool. Yeah, I write all the lyrics.
So, where do you find your inspiration?
Well, I used to have a writing partner named Dave Fitzbag, who was part Indian and I'm part Cherokee, and I don't know, we would just like trip and go off into the forest and kind of come up with like visuals on the trees and stuff. We would try to like write political songs, and it usually ended up being more about talking trees and rivers that would talk to us, and the babble would tell us exactly what to do, and it was far more interesting to discover the magic instead of like search for a poem and force that poem right out of you, to let the poem come to you and just listen and wait for the words to come to you, and it would be all around you in nature. That's kind of the way I feel about it.
So what happened to Dave? Where's he now?
Dave died. He died on Halloween 1999. He was part of Bag. He was part of the Modern Wigs. And he's also on the very first Iron Bong record. He was a good friend of mine since I was in high school. We met when we were 15 and started writing songs together. And he was a huge part of everything musically until about 35 when Dave died on Halloween. No doubt the Halloween he was the most occult person I know. And Halloween, it was not suicide. He died of alcoholism due to pneumonia. Or pneumonia due to alcoholism. And what a day, Halloween. Dave's always here. Halloween's always been different since then. But that's what happened to Dave.
It was a suicide, but it was a pneumonia?
No, it was not a suicide. Even though he died, no, it was not suicide. No, it was odd that he would die on Halloween, the perfect day for Dave to die. But
yeah.
He did not choose that. That was the day that he just made the circle. And
just happened to happen.
Died of pneumonia. Yeah, he was just an alcoholic, and he died of pneumonia at age 35.
There was an interview, like an online text interview that I read, where you were talking about somebody that was having a problem with heroin. Is that what it was? And
I'm thinking maybe that was the guy that my friend that ran Rockadelic Records that did commit suicide.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's why I was confusing him with Dave, because I think that was in the same article.
Not many people are left alive from that era of the Texas psychedelic punk scene. I feel like a survivor.
What a long, strange trip it's been, huh?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to intro your next piece here. This one actually is by Iron Bong. This one's called Trippin' Balls. How did you come up with this one?
I was tripping balls. No, not really. I was playing around with some animation, and I was making these two pink balls fly. But there's a little piece of animation in the video where got this big guy's face, and these little pink balls shoot across and go into the head of it's my head. I'm sitting there like cross-legged with hoofed feet. And anyway, I was shooting these pink balls across, and I noticed there was two of them I was playing with, and I started messing around with two pink balls, and I tossed together the song. Next thing I know, it didn't sound like what I was saying was two pink balls, though. And every time I listened to it and I played it back, I was thinking, that doesn't sound like that. It sounds like I'm saying tripping balls. Oh, well, that's much better anyway. So then we just started saying tripping balls, and that's how that happened.
Well, okay. And this is Trippin' Balls. Trippin'. you also make all your own music videos, right?
Yes.
What programs do you use, and where do you come up with your ideas?
Been using Adobe Premiere to edit with, and I just shoot on my little $100 camera that's actually just a still camera, but it's got video on it now. And usually I just listen to one of my songs I've recorded and think about what might be an easy, low-budget, cool video to make.
Some of them have like lip syncing animation. How do you achieve that?
Man, that's hard, but it's fun too. I like to do animation, and I'm not necessarily a very good animator, but I think I like it on the comedy level, which, I like to do psychedelic comedy animation. I'm not like, Disney or anything, but I think it flies for what it is. And the mouths moving I think it adds to the bizarre psychedelic effect of the musician singing, and it's just kind of freaky. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll be sure and post, when I do the journal, some of your videos, like underneath the interview, just, so people can see what we're talking about. But what was it was something Alice in Wonderland type. What was the name of that one that had the? It was like a nude woman. She was talking. I did an opera, psychedelic opera called "Go Ask Alice When She's in Texas Land." It's about it's just a psychedelic, but it's all the poems from the Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, especially Through the Looking Glass, which always makes me feel like it gets overlooked. And it's all the poems, not necessarily any sort of plot. It's just all the really cool poems strung together, and it sort of makes its own kind of little plot, which is kind of cool in its own way. And it's I did it. I wrote the opera and recorded it with my friend Mark Ridlin, and then all this stuff's been happening in San Francisco. Iron Bong moved out to San Francisco a few years ago, and Witchwoods and this Alice Wonderland stuff has all been since we were now out in San Francisco, which is a different kind of creative environment altogether. Like shooting those videos in the forest around my house, it's just so much more you can shoot here. It's just so beautiful, and everything is just like, wow, look at that. Or back in Texas, you didn't have a whole lot, but anthills everywhere. Oh yeah, you're in Texas, you know that. It's like basically you've been back and forth from California to Texas, or did you grow up in California or Texas, or where are you from originally?
Well, I'm originally from back on Harmony Mountain with those Indian folk in Arkansas, Oklahoma border. But then I grew up in California, and then somewhere along the way, I ended up in Texas as a student. Went to high school, junior high in Texas, and then went to college in Texas. That's a long time in Texas. Became a Texan through and through, and then went back to California. It was really refreshing.
It's been great talking to you. It looks like the show is about to end. It's just another one of those shows where I wish I had more time.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. And I hope to see, more of you in the future. I hope you keep putting out albums. I wish you all the success in the world with Iron Bong. Can't wait to see what you do with it. I look forward to your videos. See them online.
Well, I'll keep you posted, and thanks a lot. And can't wait to watch our show here. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thanks for being on Emergence.
All right. Thank you very much.